Okay, hi everyone, welcome to Crypt Talk, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. This is the first live stream, so you're going to see a lot of mistakes. Just want to use this and see what kind of trouble I run into along the way. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at the charts. All right, so let's get the basics out of the way. This is the Kraken exchange chart. These are 1 hourly candles, and Bitcoin is trading at 39,690. So the purpose of this live stream, the reason I'm doing this instead of doing a normal traditional style of episode that I'd normally do weekly, is because obviously look at the price. So it's just underneath that $40,000 level, which is, a massive level considering the highest level, Bitcoin's previous all-time high back in December 2017 was $20,000. So if it hits 40, doesn't take a genius to figure out it's going to be twice that. Now, the highest point it actually reached today was 39,670. So just as I went live, that's very, very lucky on my part. And I want to give you a quick price target. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to take a look at this this consolidation pattern here. It's very, very a small consolidation pattern here, really, because it's the hourly. But if you look at the highest wick here, I'm going to draw a line down here. I'm going to connect. I'll just zoom in a small bit so you can see it a bit better. Right, so that makes a lot more sense there. So from that wick to this wick, I'll just straighten that up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and clone this. So if you follow the channel, you might have seen me do this before in previous episodes. Or possibly not, because I edited it out. And we're going to take a point down here as well. So I'm just doing this really, really roughly. Okay. So I had been looking at this a few days ago, because the last time I made an episode, I think it was Bitcoin just broke $30,000 only 4 days ago, and Bitcoin's now trading at nearly $40,000. So look, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this thing is possibly overbought. So we're having a look at this, and the reason I'm showing you this, I'll zoom back out now so we can see why 40,000 looks, well, you can't say imminent here really. It's Bitcoin, anything can happen, but it's looking more likely because it's in the middle of this bull run. We've had a massive institutional investment. We've had a fantastic year, really. I know 2020 was obviously a year a lot of people would rather forget, but Bitcoin, it's done a 6x back since March. Right, so this pattern here, it's basically your run-of-the-mill consolidation pattern. So even though it's small and it's on the 1 hourly, it's looking like a bullish pennant. So you have a period of, it's on the continuation bullish pattern that tends to break to the upside. So what you have is kind of like a flagpole here, or kind of an upward movement, and then it goes, you have a few lower highs here along this resistance line here, and then you have some higher lows. So it's very, very small. So the point of the breakout is here. So if I'm going to go ahead and just drag this up to the point of the breakout. So it broke out of here. Let's say that's the point of the breakout there. So then you're looking at a target of $41,000. Okay, so I think, when you're looking at here, it's 39,734. Ideally, I'm not going to wait for it to break out to 40,000. Ideally, I'd like it just to do it now, and so I can end the live stream. But yeah, it's looking very good that it'll actually break up that level. Now I'm just going to switch for 1 second. And just want to show you this chart here. So you've seen me talk about this before. If you have been following Bitcoin, you've definitely seen other YouTubers look at this pattern as well. So this just Google Trends. So what I've set it to worldwide, so you're getting all the data. So it gathers all the data. You can put in a term, whatever that term might be. Maybe it's a particular band you like, or a particular soccer team or whatever. So I've just done that for Bitcoin. So the search term is Bitcoin. I put in worldwide. And what you have here then is just your date range, your custom date range. So the custom date range here is basically from the 1st of January 2009 until today's date. And it's just like search interest. Now what you can see is, you see this peak here. That's just telling you that the highest peak, the most ever that the search term Bitcoin was searched was back in December 2017. And then that's when it had this massive blow off top, the previous all-time high of just under $20,000. And then people lost interest. So the regular run-of-the-mill retail people like me and you lost interest. Well, a lot of people lost interest. Say, like I kind of bought back in 2017 and I kept buying, but a lot of people lost interest. Maybe people who got in late 2017 when the frenzy and the FOMO and the fear of missing out had started. But if you look at the reason I'm showing you this now is relative to this, like this, how Google Trends work is they're going to rate this as 100 because it's the highest peak that Bitcoin, the open interest on Bitcoin and Google Trends ever reached. So they're going to compare everything else to that. So you can see there was very little interest before that. Then in the bull run of 2017, when the price, rallied from like $1,000 all the way up to $20,000 just underneath, you also had people Googling Bitcoin because they were Googling what is Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin mining, how to buy Bitcoin, what's an exchange, everything to do with Bitcoin. And then interest fell off from the masses, from the mainstream. But say then the kind of like the hardcore Bitcoiners were obviously still buying and the miners are still mining and so forth. But then as time progressed, what you have then is that institutions started buying. So that's what's different from this from this bull run compared to previous bull runs. Right, so I'm just going to flick back to the charts for 1 second. And I just want to make sure I'm getting text messages. I want to make sure this is actually going through. Okay, yeah, no problem. Right, so I'm just going to clean this up a small bit. So look, that's the target there. I'm confident it'll hit $40,000 probably within the next 24 hours. Okay, but again, this is Bitcoin. There's nothing is set in stone. There's not a person in the world who knows when this thing is going to break out, when it's going to crash. But just from the fact that it's in a massive bull run, the fact that institutions are literally buying up millions, and things like retail interest has started. That's the whole point in showing you this chart here. Obviously, that these are regular people Googling Bitcoin and interested in Bitcoin. It's picking up again, whereas the institutions have been doing that for the last few years, in particular this year. Right, so I'll switch this to the daily, and there's something else I want to show you. Okay, I think Coinbase went down actually because I tried to buy another €10 worth of Bitcoin, because every episode for the last 17 episodes I've been buying €10 worth of Bitcoin just as like a dollar cost averaging project. But I'll show you what I'm on now. Okay, the reason I've zoomed out here, so again, this is still the Kraken chart, and these are, sorry, let's get rid of that. Right, so this is still the Kraken chart. These are 1 hourly candles, and if you can see here, sorry, these are daily candles, sorry, my mistake. So these are daily candles, and what I'm looking at here is the green line. You can ignore this red line here now. Let's clean this up a bit. And the reason I'm showing you this is because one of the most bullish things that can happen in Bitcoin or other assets is that they flip a previous resistance to new support. Now, if you look at that there, I'm just going to change the color in this for a second. Just want to get rid of some of this stuff and clean this up. So I'm just going to change the color of this line for the time being. And the reason I'm doing that is just I want that to represent resistance. So if you look here, the Bitcoin price came up and it was rejected here. So that's one rejection because the price was trading under the line of resistance. And the same thing over here. And then it got a lot of rejections here, like 2 or 3 touches there on the daily candles here. Came down here, back up again, and another point of resistance here before finally breaking it through there. So at that point then, we actually haven't gone down under that again. So that's why at the start of this video then I had that line changed, that line colored in green. So I'll just change that to green because I'm just using that to represent that previous resistance is now new support. Right, so a few things I'm going to add in. Just going to add in a few indicators here. So I'm going to add in the RSI and explain what that is, just in case you're new to the channel or new to Bitcoin. So that's one thing added in, and I want to put in, I'll just put in the EMA ribbon as well, because I want to get a few different indicators going, and maybe the Bollinger Bands as well. Okay, so I'll just get rid of this. Okay, the Bollinger Bands I didn't put in. All right. So again, cracking chart, daily candles, and like if you look at that run up, like that is pretty much unsustainable goal right there. But like it seems that everyone's saying like, when's this next crash going to happen? Like again, no one knows, but I don't think you're going to have crashes as big as you had in 2017 as regularly. You can't rule out a 40% crash. You can't. You can't rule out a 50% crash. But those crashes, those like, 10, 20, 30% crashes were commonplace. Now I just want to have a look at what I'm talking about. If you look here, so we're done with this resistance line now. It's flipped to support for now. It hasn't gone back down underneath it. And what I'm going to do is take out the measuring tool, because what I want to look at is just this point here. So that was a previous all-time high of 34,734, and that was literally only about 3 days ago. That was 4 days ago. So from the top of that down to where it corrected to, you'd say, and was quickly bought up. So what's that, like a 20% correction? That happened all in like the space of 2 days, really, because this day hit an all-time high and then correct down again. So that's a 20% drop. Quickly bought back up, so it wicked up really, really quickly. So that shows strong support. Now, if we look where we are, let's look at the indicators. So look at these, this yellow, orange, and red wave here. It's called the EMA ribbon. It's a collection of moving average. Now, typically, it's a ribbon. It spins. So like it can, when the yellow line is on top and we're above, it tends to be in a bull market. The price is going well, and then when it flips and the red is on top, then it tends to be underneath it, and when it's underneath it, then it tends to be decreasing in value. But at the moment, like it's really, look at this. It hasn't actually fallen or touched. This wick here didn't even touch the EMA ribbon. So back to here on the 16th of December, so mid-December, it kind of doesn't, just barely touching it there, got a bit of support off it and continued its rally above. And it was the same in 2017 and even 2018 when it rallied up to 14,000. Now looking down here at the RSI. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and it's a number between 0 and 100. And basically, if it's over 70, if the number is trading at over 70, right now the RSI is 88.67. When it's over 70, which it has been, as I mentioned in previous episodes, that just, I think it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day actually, it started to, that's just like hilarious. Like Christmas Day, it starts to really, really take off and starts to be overbought, but it's been trading like over 70 on the RSI since Christmas Day. So that's a sign that it is overbought, and a correction, is kind of imminent. But again, you can't even say imminent because it's Bitcoin. But maybe this one was the kind of a short-term correction just to reset it, because it did drop down. If you can see it here, look at it here. When this wick down, when there was a little dump, if you look what happened to the RSI, it just dropped down that small bit. So kind of like it keeps it in check. That's what you want. You want that to happen. You want those 10, 15, 20% crashes every now and then to keep it somewhat healthy. The Bollinger Bands here, this green wave. So you have green line here, and then you have the basis inside here. So I'll just actually move the EMA ribbon so you can see it better. And I'm done talking about the RSI as well, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. Yeah, so you can see it here. This is the basis of the Bollinger Band. In general, when the price is above that, it's in a bull run. When it's below, it's in a kind of a bear. It's kind of in a dip or a crash and a correction. Yeah, so that's really all I wanted to take a look at the moment. I'm not going to hang around until it hits 40k. I think it's probably going to hit 40k within the next, probably in the next 24 hours, probably tomorrow. I was going to say the weekends might get a bit of a dump or micro trade sideways, but the weekends don't seem to matter anymore because it's in such a strong bull run. That's another sign that the mainstream interest, the retail interest is back again. So this one here, this trend here, this does suggest retail interest is starting again, but we're nowhere near previous like all-time highs on retail interest. Also the fact that Christmas Day, that's the 25th, and then the 26th and 7th, that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So people were actually trading from the computers because the stock market was closed, because it was closed for holidays and the weekend. So even the weekends, you seem to have good pumps. Like if you look back here, today's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So this is Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it hit an all-time high there. Didn't it hit an all-time high here as well? So the weekends don't seem to matter anymore. The next episode I had was making an episode a few days ago, 4 days ago, and a friend phoned me and just said, did you look at the Bitcoin price? Because it broke 30k, and that was like big news at the time. And I was in the middle of making an episode showing my prediction for 2021. Mine's kind of conservative. There's a lot of predictions out there saying, you know, it's going to be 288,000 within the next 2 years, or it's going to be 100k this year. Mine's a little bit more conservative, but yeah, like I do think that this is going to hit 50,000 this year. But that's not my actual prediction. The next episode, I'm going to go through my prediction. So I'm pretty much done with the live stream now. So if you've got any sort of value, whether you're watching this live, which I doubt too many people are, but if you watch it back later on, if you got any sort of value, learn anything new, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I'm on, I think, 185 subscribers, trying to hit 200, because when I hit 200, I've got some money set aside that I'm going to give to charity. Thanks very much for watching. All right, and as usual, Sláinte.